Which dream nightmare will you never forget? Wasn't a nightmare, it was the dream where I was responsible for the downfall of Coldplay. The TLDR is that they invited me to join the band, even though I haven't played a musical instrument in a decade. We had a massive concert, it was great. I'm a fucking rock star now, I thought. The next night, sold out show in a stadium. I show up and we can't take the stage because I forgot my guitar at home. People were furious. I snuck out the back and went home. The crowd started rioting and it turned into a global scandal, and a few days later they announced that they were breaking up. When I was a kid we had a porch with a crappy wooden railing. One night I dreamed that as I was leaning against it, it broke off and it was like I was falling and flailing in slow motion. Then the ground comes towards me while I'm expecting the crunch. Except when I hit it, the ground acts like a trampoline and launches me a little higher. This keeps going on. I see our neighborhood, then our province, then North America, and then the sky turns black and I'm forced awake because I went orbital and you obviously can't breathe in space. I had a dream that I met Elon Musk in a nightclub, and he was talking to me about how badly he wanted to become a better person, and I was this amazing person who had helped him see the light and he wanted to be with me. He was so damn emotional I thought he was even going to propose to me, and I said, "That's very sweet of you, Elon, let's talk again soon." He leaves for 1 second, I turn around and the bitch is up on the balcony kissing another woman and I cried my eyes out. The moral of the story is to stay away from bad boys. I have so many. My dreams are always vivid and feel so real, it's exhausting. Sometimes I feel like I'm living another separate life in a parallel world or something when my body is sleeping. My nightmares are almost always about the end of the world, or I'm being hunted by some serial killer. This one time I dreamed that I sexually assaulted someone. Made me extremely uncomfortable once I woke up. I have also on multiple occasions dreamt that I've been shot and died. I have a recurring dream where I drive off an overpass, which is pretty scary. But the nightmare I'll never forget is the one where I killed someone for no good reason. Everyone found out, and I barricaded myself in a bathroom with a handgun as the cops broke into the house. I was bracing myself for suicide as I woke up. Immediately had a panic attack on waking and have never forgotten that feeling. I dreamt my own wedding reception. I find myself on the floor in a dance hall I used to live nearby when I was a kid. Someone calls out to me to my bride. I find her wearing a yellow dress, long black hair with curls. We danced for a long time. I never felt peace like this. She tells me she has to leave for now. I tried to get her to stay. I ended up falling out of bed, fell face first into the floor. A nightmare I had that started out wholesome until I became conscious of it. Once that happened, suddenly I was in the woods in my dream covered in blood. I remember trying to wake myself up and after a couple minutes just let out a blood-curdling scream which woke me up luckily. Dreams like these happen quite frequently and I feel like I should mention it to a doctor. I had a dream that I was trapped in a cave full of water, and there was a balloon that was slowly filling the remaining space in the cave. I panicked as I suffocated and drowned, and then I died? It was weird. The dream faded slowly and then suddenly I was outside the cave, which had been sealed with concrete, watching a bunch of world leaders organize my funeral. My sister passed away last year. I had a dream somebody would die the previous 3 nights ago and I couldn't forget it. Everything that had happened on my dream happened in real life. My dad drunk, my mom there, my parents divorced, and my aunt and uncle there. She passed away from the flu. Ever since then I was terrified of death and I still am to this day. So, I had a dream where it was a calm day in my home. Till my dad stood up and started killing my siblings. He then went after my mother. Before the dream ended, I saw my mother's face slowly turning toward me as blood dripped from her mouth. She looked and said, "Please, get away from here." Then I awoke. I once dreamed I was terminally ill on my deathbed, slipping away and dying. I woke up abruptly just as I was about to die. It felt so real that I had trouble returning to normal human function for about a week. I'd quit what was going on, but maybe it was a metaphor playing itself out in my subconscious. I constantly have variations of basically the same dream since the movie Twister came out. I'm always in a situation with a tornado warning and sirens going off trying to tell whoever is around me to seek shelter, but they always ignore me. Tornado hits whatever building we're in and I wake up. I had this nightmare when I was 14 where a big dragon woke up and it was about to cause a huge tsunami, and I distinctly remember when me, my 2 brothers and my mom were running down the street with other people and then I just decided to kill myself. Then I woke up. Worst nightmare of my life. I was in bed asleep. I was awoken by the sudden urge to pee. It felt as if my bladder was about to explode. I dart out of bed and do the trying to hold it shuffle to the toilet. I sit down and amount to relive myself. When I suddenly wake up in bed this close to pissing everywhere, I was murdered. I had this horrible nightmare. This is the only part I can remember, where I was on a white bed and someone was shoving crows and black feathers down my throat. I remember fighting back pretty hard while this person was doing this to me. I woke up as I was fighting, lost in the woods with a cabin in the distance. Two people in overalls sitting on the porch in rocking chairs. As I walk closer I realize they have twisted faces and appear overall deformed. I can't stop from getting closer to them, so I force myself to wake up. I was paragliding off of a building, and I look around and see a daydream character of mine next to me. This particular character was my favorite. Seeing her in my dream, I remember trying to drink in every aspect of her. It was the happiest I've ever felt. When I was 7 years old, I dreamed of a man wearing a black long leather jacket breaking into my house with a gun, when I was cooking for my family and waiting for them home. He chased me all the way to the second floor. Then, I closed the door and woke up. The night before I left for college I had a dream there was a going away party for me at my house full of friends and family. Part of the way through the party everyone turned into vampires and I had to battle my way out of there. It was sad and awesome. I remember I was in a big room. It was semi-dark but a faint bright purple light made it easy to see. I remember seeing my crush there in a robe or sundress staring at me. I remember them beginning to walk towards me. And then I got woken up for school. Dad passed away 2019. But been having this dream where he wasn't dead. He was alive after we buried him. So he told me he crawled his way out. Hell fucked up dream. Always crying after waking up. I've had the dream twice. A sign that looks like the ones in Swedish commuter trains, and the picture reads that you shouldn't punch people. And then immediately attacks me. I had the dream when I was in a little crib. And I still remember. I'm 37 and still remember a nightmare I had when I was around 10 or so. It was short, but it was me being chased down a hallway by a swarm of bees with them constantly stinging me. Yeah, I still hate bees and wasps. I was held captive by zombie kitties and they kept threatening to bite me. They forced me to order them pizza and they attacked the deliveryman, the guy from Wheel of Fortune, Pat Sajak, trying to butt fuck me on the front porch when my grandma walks out the door and I wake up. A bunch from my childhood. One involved a castle. Another involved the Wicked Witch's funeral and my brother's snake cage. Another aliens. I was on my way to high school and a car pulled up and someone inside the car shot me to dead. Then I wake up to go to high school. Nightmare about a demon pulling me through the TV into the vortex of hell. Laughter and screaming in the torrent of fire. I was probably around 12. Jason was chasing me with his chainsaw around an old barn in the middle of a field. Crying face. My class of me being hunted down in my elementary school by my 3rd grade teacher who turned into a harpy. Been out of school for ages and I still dream about missing the bus. I was half asleep and Chucky came out of the Jesus portrait I have. Being forced into a world that I didn't ask to be born in. Oh wait, the one based in reality. Most call it life. I call it death. Running away from the toxic strict lady I used to live with.